Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a Minecraft update. And today we're going to be going over all of the updates that have been released in the new 21w05a update. I know. I'm a little late on this update. It was released a little over a week, maybe a week and a half ago, but there are so many awesome and beautiful new updates that I thought that I just had to post about them. And one of the very first things is actually these glowberries. And as you can see in my hands, look at these things. They are absolutely beautiful. All right, so right here we actually have cave vines with glowberries, and every time a glowberry is actually put, and you can't put them on the ground or anything else as you can see here, but they are called cave vines. So if we put the cave vines up top, you can see that's how they grow. They basically just hang out over underneath, and you can continue to click the bottom of them, and of course they'll glow down. But if you keep clicking them, nothing happens. But if you hit them with bone meal, you'll actually have a chance here for the glowberries to grow on them. And one of the really cool things to automate this is to actually just keep clicking it. So this would be a really easy way for you to have an AFK farm to get as many of the glowberries as you want. And yeah, so that's I think that's a really cool idea, especially with the last update with the item frames, the glow item frames here with the glow berries. I think that it's really going to be bringing a lot of new items and everything into the game. I'd like to also add that foxes absolutely love glowberries. They will consume them. As you can see right here, they love them and they will sit there and eat them. So that is one of the big things with the glowberries that is a little different than some other things before. So we now have two options. We have sweetberry bushes, and we have the glowberries that are now part of the fox interaction, if you will. The next thing that we are going to go over is the drip leaves, and you have two different kind of drip leaves. You have the small drip leaves, which you see right here, and you have, well, there you go, the big drip leaves. And it's a little strange because the small drip leaves can only grow in water. You can only put these in water, and they can also be fully immersed in water. Let me see if we can come over here real fast and come down. That may still be too, yeah. See how they're completely underneath the water? Yeah, these can be completely underneath the water, and so can the big drip leaves as well. Now, since the drip leaves cannot be grown on dry land, but the big drip leaves can, this is what you've seen in some of the Minecraft updates. And you can't, like, hold down, right click on them. That does not help them grow. But bone mealing, if you click the big leaf at the top, that's the only way it's able to be grown. You have to click that big leaf at the top for it to continue to get grown. And this is also the one. Let's go ahead and add another one down here, and we will test it, because my belief is this particular leaf was brought into the game for parkour. And as you can see, Minecraft has already put in the functionality for it to start wilting a little bit as you step on it. So it'll be really cool to see what some of the Minecraft servers will be adding into the game for some of the parkour. The only strange thing that I notice is, like, when you're on it here, if you crouch, like a lot of people do to get over and to set themselves up for a parkour jump, they don't wilt. And I think that's a lost opportunity for really cool little games and everything else. But yeah, as soon as you unclick your shift button, it will bring you straight back down. I also wanted to point out that, as you saw when I was showing that, when it ends up wilting down, you can actually see that the drip leaf will tilt back up again after a while. So it's kind of like, it gets its sunshine or whatnot, and grows back up like it's supposed to. So that's definitely something that we might be able to, talk Ambro into including in some of the parkour games on Arcadia. Another thing to notice is placing the big drip leaves are directional. I think that's a pretty cool thing. That way, as we're building our parkour, it will help us, figure out a lot of the different ways that we can interact with the new drip leaves and, figure something out really cool to work with. One thing to notice about the drip leaf is if you hit a drip leaf, as you can see, that completely just died. It went away, it disappeared. If you click the small drip leaves, that does the same thing. Another thing that I've just noticed is if you hit one of the small drip leaves, it will just go away. It also removes the source block underneath it. But if you bone meal one of the small drip leaves, it will actually grow into one of the big drip leaves. Another thing that I noticed is that if you have a big drip leaf and you hit it, it disappears. But if you hit a tall drip leaf or a big drip leaf that has been grown and you hit that, you'll actually notice you will get a drop. So that's one way that can work. Also, on acquiring these drip leaves, wandering traders actually have the ability to... Okay, that one doesn't. That one doesn't either. There we go. All right, so another thing, like I said, I noticed is you can actually collect the small drip leaves from wandering traders. They've added that functionality into the game. So if you're looking for them, you can't find any of them. Of course, you can purchase 1 emerald for 2 of the small drip leaves, which of course, as we just found out, if you have the small drip leaves, making those into big drip leaves right there. Now, if we hit that with shears, it looks like they all disappear anyways. I don't know if that's supposed to be a function, but it seems like that's what's happening right now. Now let's get rid of these traders. Some new decorative blocks in the game, which you may or may not have noticed, is actually the moss. So we now have full moss blocks, and that's what they look like right there. And I think it is pretty neat. It looks good. Another thing that I noticed is if we have a crafting table, it's very easy to craft those up into moss carpets, and we have them all over the place here. But that is what they look like, and I think that's just another great way to add texture into the game. Another neat update that I have really come to enjoy is the new rooted dirt. Now that's going to come with one of the other items we're going to go over here in just a second, but with the rooted dirt now we can mix all of that with our coarse dirt, our rooted dirt, and our regular dirt. And if we mix all those together, of course you can really make some really cool new path blocks. I think it's really going to bring a huge perk to people's worlds and the way paths work and everything else. All right, I know you guys have been looking at these for quite some time. These are the new azalea bushes or azalea trees, because looking at the bottom, they definitely have some tree-like, stems and everything else on the bottom. But this is how that's going to look. There you go. So we have the regular azalea there, and then we have the flowering azalea. So I do not believe we are able to, well, not sheep, we need shears. Yeah, so we can't take any of the flowers or anything else off of that, but there is 2 new bushes that can be used. But it's really strange because you have the azalea here, the flowering azalea and the regular azalea, but you also have azalea leaves. So I'm not sure if the idea behind this is, to eventually have some tree somehow, turning into a beautiful, new tree type. I mean, I think that would look really cool, especially in maybe a new biome sometime in the future. Hint, Mojang, a new biome, a beautiful lush gardening area. All right, so with those out of the way, we do have the azaleas, we have the drip, we have the moss blocks, which we have already talked about. The next thing is going to be the spore blossoms. And spore blossoms cannot be placed anywhere on the ground or anything like that, just like we couldn't with the vines. And we also have the hanging roots. So both of those hang down. As far as them growing, they don't grow. So they just sit there. One cool addition though is the animations with the hanging spore blossoms that they are dropping spores down. Now I do not believe if we change this over, yeah, they don't add anything special or anything like that to it. It just is what it is, and it's just another thing to add animations. So that's all the new blocks, it seems like, for this new update. Let's get into some of the other new updates. All right, so copper has a new feel and look and new names and everything else to it as well. And also the stone cutter can be used to craft different copper blocks. So if we come up here, we can come in here, add the block of copper, and of course we can get cut copper. We can get cut copper slabs as well as stairs. And here we have everything set up. So we have the block of copper, the copper stairs, and the cut copper stairs and the cut copper slab. We now have the exposed copper block, and that is a new name. We have the weathered copper block. We have the oxidized copper block. We have, of course, cut copper, exposed cut copper, and weathered cut copper. And each of those, of course, come with their very own set of stairs as well as slabs. In this new snapshot, there is also new skulk sensor changes, and along with that, block changes for minecart moving and bells ringing and block changes. All those are going to be new parts of the new skulk changes, and right there on the screen you will see exactly what it is. So for example, finishing your drink and prime fuses is now going to be frequency of 7. Mob interactions is going to be 8. Equipment, shears, Ravager roars, that's now going to be 9 frequency. Entities being killed is 13. Shulk sensors, opening and closing. So the opening is going to be 15. So when these open up, that is now going to release at a frequency of 15, and closing is going to be a new release of 14. The difference between block changes is when a player or dispenser action has changed a block. For example, like eating a slice of cake. Let's let that release really fast, and then eating a slice of cake. That is now a new update that is going to be shown over with the skulk sensors. Another new update in the game has to do with powdered snow and how that is going to operate. So with the powdered snow, of course, you've all seen all the updates where you can now fall through them, as well as in survival mode, you can see on the outside. So let's get out of this really fast. You'll see the frost on the outside of my screen starts to fade, but when we go in, we will actually see those frosts start coming in like we are freezing in here. And then of course we will eventually start taking damage. The colder we get and the more frozen we get, we will start taking damage on that. There we go. See how that all comes through? There you go. And then of course that can end up freezing you to death. But what we are going to talk about right now is actually the fact with flaming arrows. So a new feature in the game is actually supposed to extinguish any arrows that have flame on them. And as you can see right there, you see how the powdered snow ended up stopping it. So if we come here, and of course I just want to prove it to you. There we go. See, we got a flame bow here. If you shoot through, oh, that didn't work. No, that one didn't work either. Well, you saw it work. It looks like sometimes maybe it works and sometimes it doesn't. That's weird. It must just be a bug that they have not updated yet. So there we go. We have quite a few of them here though that they have. So it looks like it is something that has been added, just not perfected yet. So that's something that we'll have to look for in the future. There we go. So it looks like that was what, 2 out of 3? 2 out of 3 are still flamed. Yeah, that's still pretty bad, Mojang. Okay, one thing that I did want to bring up and why we left all of these copper and everything down here is because the oxidation process for copper is now going to be something that works with the random tick speed. So if we have, for example, just an absolute ton of copper, and as we place down all this copper, Of course, our shock sensors over there are going absolutely crazy. But as this gets put in here, we'll start noticing, hopefully, a little bit of change. However, if we don't, after we get finished with this here, you will notice in just a second, because I'm going to take a chance and break my computer. Oh, there we go. Random tick speed. Let's go to maybe 5,000. And there we go. As you can see, all the oxidation ends up happening very, very sporadically, and all dependent upon your specific tick speed. So, of course, we set ours to 9,999, and that sped it up significantly. And as you can see behind me, it is still going over to the oxidation. So in addition to all the things that we've already talked about, there are a bunch of bug fixes, as you can see over in the corner of the screen. If you would like to get a version of this specific snapshot, make sure you open up your Minecraft launcher and enable snapshots in the installation tabs. I will have a full description of this over at MrFoxandSocks.com, as well as in the description of this video. But until now, that is all of the updates for the Minecraft snapshot 1.17 21w05a. Until the next update, I will see you all later. Bye.